Welcome back to part 2 of building a garden. In this episode, we're going to estimate landscape materials needed for the garden by using some simple math steps. When you call your bark and soil delivery company to order your dirt or landscape materials, they will ask you, how many cubic yards do you need? Since we have the 4 raised beds in our garden, we'll need dirt. We'll also need gravel for the circle and the entryway, and ground cover for the rest of the garden. We have 4 raised beds in our garden, and the following 3 simple steps will help you figure out how many cubic yards are needed for your project. In order to figure out how much dirt we need for our raised beds, as you see in the empty before picture, and the filled after picture, we're going to start step 1 by finding the square feet of the area to be filled. The simple equation for this is length times width equals square feet, or SF. Our beds are 6 feet by 12 feet. In other words, 6 times 12 is 72. So I have 72 square feet of area to fill. We need to decide how high we want our dirt to be in our raised beds. This step will help us find the cubic feet of our area to fill. We want our beds to be filled with 3 feet high of dirt. Length times width times height equals cubic feet, or CF. 12 feet times 6 feet times 3 feet is 216 cubic feet. If you have more than 1 raised garden bed like we do, remember to multiply that into your total cubic feet. Our garden has 4 raised garden beds, so 216 cubic feet times 4 boxes is 864 cubic feet. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, your bark and soil delivery company will ask you how many cubic yards do you need. A cubic yard is material measuring 3 feet in length by 3 feet in width by 3 feet in height. 3 feet times 3 feet times 3 feet is 27 cubic feet. To finish this final step, take your total cubic feet from step 2, divide by 27 cubic feet to get the cubic yards you need. Our example is 864 total cubic feet divided by 27 cubic feet equals 32 cubic yards. We need 32 cubic yards of dirt to fill our raised garden beds. Next, we're going to determine how much gravel is needed for the circle and entry areas. Step 1, just like with our dirt, we need to start by finding the square feet of the area to be filled. Here, we start with the circle. Measure the width of your circle, the diameter. Half the width is called the radius. Multiply radius times 3.14, which is also pi, and you get your square feet. Our circle is 10 feet wide, so our example is 5 feet times 5 feet times 3.14, and we get 78.5 square feet. The entry area is much easier. It is basically a rectangle shape. Length times width equals square feet. Our example is 10 feet by 21 feet, and we get 210 square feet. To find the number of cubic feet you need of gravel, first decide how thick or how high you want it to be. We want our gravel to be 3 inches high. 3 inches is 0.25 or 1/4 of a foot. So we're going to multiply our total square feet times 0.25 to get our cubic feet. For example, 288 square feet times 0.25 is 72 cubic feet. Just like with our dirt, we need to calculate this into cubic yards. Remember, material that is 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet is 27 cubic feet. So take the total cubic feet that we just got from step 2 and divide by 27 cubic feet to get the cubic yards you need. For example, 72 cubic feet divided by 27 cubic feet equals 3 cubic yards. We need 3 cubic yards of gravel to fill the circle and entry. Finally, for today, we need to determine how much ground cover is needed for the garden area shown here in green. Just like we did with the dirt and gravel, we start by finding the square feet of the area to fill. Our garden is 55 feet by 69 feet. When we multiply this length times width, we get 3,795 square feet. However, we don't have to put ground cover on our raised beds or gravel areas, so we will take our square feet and subtract the square feet from our raised garden beds that we found earlier, then subtract the square feet of our circle and our entry that we also found earlier, and what we get is a total 3,218.5 square feet of ground to cover. Just like our gravel example in step 2, we will find cubic feet by taking the 3-inch height that we want our ground cover to be and convert it to feet. 3 inches equals 0.25 or 1/4 of a foot. Multiply our total square feet by 0.25 to get the cubic feet. Our example, 3,218.5 square feet times 0.25 is 804.5 cubic feet. Finally, calculate how many cubic yards. Just like finding cubic yards for dirt and gravel, we will take the total cubic feet from step 2 and divide by 27 cubic feet to get the total cubic yards needed. Our example is 804.5 cubic feet divided by 27 cubic feet is 30 cubic yards. We need 30 cubic yards of mulch to cover our garden grounds. That's a lot of math for one day, but it's good practice. This was a big project for us, and it required lots of planning and hard work. We hope you get inspired by part 1 of this video series and that today's video, part 2, helps you complete the plan and stay on budget. If this video has helped you, please let us know by leaving a comment. Feel free to give the video a like and subscribe to this channel so you can see what's next.